L.G.C. Damn you, sunlight! I knew I shouldn't have stared directly into the sun, but this is Blinding Dark, Unity game from Games Hut. You can check it out at blindingdark.com. Did they recently get through a Greenlight campaign? I believe they did. They're on the Steams now, so you can check that out.
It's
you can
not
buy
an
it
early
for-
access, surprisingly.
It is not an early access game, but you could have fooled us. Retails for $9.99 wet stinky euros or wet stinky American capitalist scum dollars. So, of course, with every game that crosses our path, it faces the Chairquisition, and that's totally the gravity gun. God damn it! One chair means that's shit. 2 chairs means that's meh. 3 chairs means that's pretty good, and 4 chairs means that it's fucking awesome. As awesome as an all-night bender on cocaine ending in a lot of fast food. And of course, we have our categories: Doom makes with the working, shiny and sounds controls, and fun. So then, did Blinding Dark make with the working, or was it absolute horror?
Imprisoning me. Here's the thing. Things kind of started out a bit, all right. It just launched, and I was playing for a bit, and I was like, all right, that works. Then they pushed out another update, I believe it was yesterday.
Yep.
And I wanted to spend some more time with it today, because it only showed that I'd played 12 minutes, even though I'd put like 40 minutes into the game. So I started an offline mode because I was watching the Doctor Who's, and I didn't want anything dodging with my bandwidth while I was doing this, and it wouldn't start in offline mode, does it? This has been reproduced by P-Man. And
Yep.
So then I finally get back into the game, to online mode after the Who's was off. Played it for, another 20 minutes. Just finally solidified my utter love for this. Went to close it, and I unlocked 15 out of 18 achievements without really doing anything.
Pedro did not reproduce that part, by the way.
Yeah, I could not.
So, mixed with that and the time tracking wonkiness, could give it the 4 chairs, but, I'll give it a solid 3 for the most part on our Ubuntu 1404 LTS NVIDIA-powered box of business. J-Man.
So, this has been a common thing that has occurred in Unity games that we've covered, where if you're using NVIDIA TwinView for your multi-monitor setup, Unity will just fucking nope the hell out of that. Go on your secondary monitor and only show you half the screen. You have to go into the prefs file in order to correct that. I have decided that from now on, I'm no longer taking this shit. If I have to go into the prefs file to fix your fucking resolution bullshit, you immediately lose 2 chairs from Makes with the Working, because this is unacceptable in 2014. Period.
Yeah,
end of
sounds
story.
good to me.
End of story. But, like most Unity games on my system that people just click export for, the sound was busted the first time around. Then again, it freaked out the cat. But what I like the most is even though my mixer, this 3-channel mixer, is my primary audio device, all Unity games think the Sound Blaster card that's hooked up to my room speakers should be the primary audio device, and that thing's cranked up because I use that to listen to music all throughout the house. So everywhere.
What did you test it on, man?
I was getting to that. I tested it on my Fedora 20 powered 670 superclocked business with an AMD 1050 or 1090T hex core processor. So not a slouchy system, and just can't figure out what my mixer is apparently. So that gets 2 chairs.
So as far as slouchiness goes when it comes to hardware configurations, I think my calculator takes the cookie, because it's an i3 370M with an ATI 5650 HD Mobility Radeon, and on my end, it, again, much like Jordan, it attempted to full screen into both my monitors, failed miserably, which is something I haven't seen a Unity game do since last week. And besides that, if I tried to push shift to sprint or control to duck, the game would teleport my character up out of the nav-mashed part of the map, which means I could not move. I was literally stuck. I could see the level from above, but I couldn't move. And the Friday update fixed absolutely none of the most pressing issues. So for me, it gets 1 chair.
Erps, one chair. Sorry.
Oh wow, so that's 2 chairs for Mix with the Working. Not a good start. Shiny and sounds, Ven.
Shiny
What do you-
sounds. Let's take a look at this portal gun.
Gravity gun.
Gravity gun, all that business.
It's the fucking gravity gun. There's no apology.
It
Oh, look, LSD.
doesn't look horrible because I have to keep continuing reminding myself this is a Unity game and you can make a pretty Unity game, as evidenced by Distance and Wasteland 2. But
Yep.
if you look down, which is like, for the first reason, we'll get into this controls why that happened because I breathed on my gerbil and it straight down. You just kind of, your feet are just like, you got hover feet. And like,
What's that, Ben? Is that like hover hand?
Kind of, except with your feet and with the ground without boobs, man or woman boobs, either way. And seriously, the sounds, they're good. I mean, I didn't hate them, but I'm wondering, is like, has the guys from Frictional not seen this game? Because that's almost a scene-by-scene shot waking up sequence from fuck mothering Amnesia. And here's the whole thing. As I said, it's not bad looking, but again, it's not Amnesia. It doesn't look that good, so it's on a budget and it costs more currently. So the best I can do with that business is 2 chairs, J-Man.
Yeah, like I said, like most shitty Unity games, the sound is busted on the first run. I don't know if any of you had this problem with the lighting, but it was completely fucked. And you can as you sort of, once you get the torch and move it around, you can see that the lighting code is completely busted.
It takes a while.
It takes a while as you transition from in the same room.
You can see the cells lighting up as you go.
You can see the texture squares lighting up as you go. It was really trippy. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Did something move on the? Are you fucking serious? What is this, pre-alpha? This is unacceptable, and this is something that they're charging money for. My God. Yeah, no, the lighting is the biggest problem. It really ruins your suspension of disbelief. The graphics themselves are mediocre, but a lot of what makes these horror games is the sound. You should be feeling like there's something just slightly behind you that may not be, but it's enough to keep you on your toes. This game just fails to do that. It really does. Like I'm walking through going doop doop.
How can it? You're hovering on above the ground. You can't be on your toes.
Oh yeah, no. I'm lighter than air. I feel fantastic. It's like do. Oh look, scary shit. Except it's not scary, because it's just predictable. The atmosphere is barely there. If I were an actual living being and not existing in this zero gravity environment, I would be surprised if there was an actual atmosphere and your character actually suffocates to death because there's no air pressure. But I've rambled long enough. This game, really, for Shining Sounds, for survival horror, this is actually one of the key categories because it's what you need in order to scare people, and it fails, so it gets 1 share.
Yeah,
Completely.
Immersion,
not even a little twinge of nervousness.
Yeah, immersion makes or breaks a horror game any day of the week. And this game, unfortunately, has none. I like how if you look at a movable object at a certain angle with the light hitting it, the camera immediately makes it look like your character sniffed the whole bunch of cocaine, just like, ooh, fractals. Whoa. But yeah, the update for they release on Friday, it solved the old and stiff character by making it more active. What that means is, like Ven mentioned earlier, you're doing the hover dance. If you look down, you see your character floating around like a light breeze keeps swinging him from side to side.
No, it looks like he's tap dancing.
No, it looks like he hung himself.
It looks like complete ass. 1 chair.
Oh, just
All right,
one?
Well, you can't go any lower than that. Otherwise, you have nowhere to sit, silly. So that's one chair for Tiny and Sounds. Controls. Ben, did you feel like you were in control?
Oh, I'll tell you that when you first started up, the haywire, I mean, the completely mental, and the first version that we started out with had no sensitivity or anything like that. But, you know, we have the YOLO EP Extendotron G500S Gerbil of Mightiness with its Dorito braided cord.
And its unlockable scroll wheel.
Knocked that down a few notches. Found it playable. I mean, controlled. I can move up, down, left, and right. And shift in all that business, but, you know, can't really, with the keyboard and all that. Now that they've added, you know, remaps and all that, I'm tempted to give it 3 chairs, but, you know, it's still herky-jerk. I mean, it's not smooth, and you kind of need that for, I mean, it breaks your immersion. Because you don't want to be like, and all that, which you would expect to do if you were scared pissless, but I mean, this is like Hello Kitty Island Adventure. There's nothing frightening here. You've seen it done better.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give it 2 chairs just because the controls are not completely busted, but it's nothing to write home about, J-Man.
Yes, if this game accomplishes anything, you can move in the 4 cardinal directions without any issue. But no, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So as Ben said, controls, the mouse is just completely fucked. I too have the G500 series mouse, so I knocked that thing down all the way to the bottom because otherwise the game was completely unplayable. And even then, it was Quake twitchy. I'm sort of expecting to just like sort of bunny hop through the rest of the level and go, woo, this is faster. Now where's my BFG? And oh, I guess I'll get to that in the fun section. But, no, and picking up objects is weird too because like if it brushes next to another like stationary object, you will drop whatever you're holding.
Can I interject just for 1 second?
Go nuts.
One other thing about the controls. This is Amnesia Hand. As soon as you see the Amnesia Hand and you go, oh, that's a fucking Unity game, you're like, oh, this is not going to work right. And guess what? It didn't. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you know, if you expect to like manipulate things with the mouse, no, that's not right.
No, Amnesia and Frictional, you can manipulate anything. This.
No. My main problem with Machine for Pigs is that there are guns all over the place that you cannot use. But that's besides the point. We're not talking about Amnesia. That was a good game.
Mm-hmm.
This one. But yeah, no, controls were I wouldn't give it any more than 2 chairs. Pedro.
Well, 2 chairs is a very nice score because, like I said earlier, if I pressed Control or Shift in order to, you know, sprint or duck respectively, it would put me outside the level in a place I couldn't move. Now, with the latest update, they did introduce rebindable controls, and I was really, really looking for an excuse to give this 0 chairs, but they did introduce rebindable controls, so I can't. But originally, you could not rebind the controls, you could not change the mouse sensitivity, you couldn't do anything. So for me, since I play with the directional arrows on the keyboard, I could only move forwards and backwards. Good times. But yeah, they've since sort of fixed that, and they introduced an FOV slider, not a mouse sensitivity slider yet. So for me, and like Ven said, the Amnesia Hand shows up and it does nothing. So 1 chair.
Actually, Koinka just brought up something funny in chat realm. That would be awesome. A survival horror game with Surgeon Simulator Hand. that would be tense. But anyways,
that was a special kind of hell.
That's 1 chair for controls. If this game had Surgeon Simulator Hand, I would give it a much higher score. Have you ever been so scared your limbs just don't work? Coming up next, fun. Then. Did you
fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Did you have fun?
It's very not so much with
run,
the fun.
Forrest, run.
You remember I was talking about when you look down and you genuinely, I mean, here's your feet organs, and you look down, they're just like hovering, like you're doing a bit of a shimmy. That's the first thing I was exposed to when I started this fuck mothering game, and you should not have your initial imprint of a game with your hover legs. You should not be going, Sergeant Dan, you got magic legs. I mean, that stuck in my fucking brain organ for the rest of the time I've been playing for 40 minutes. It's really hard to get scared when you're gumpified, man. Laugh like a box
When
of
your
tricks.
girlfriend has AIDS.
Yeah. That's the
Mom
whole thing.
always said life was like a box of chocolates.
This is about as fun as like when you just get into your teenage years and you think you might have accidentally knocked up the housekeeper. It's about that much fun. It's not fun at all. Nobody wants to know about it. Nobody wants to find out the outcome. That's kind of like this game. It's not scary. Even the jump scare, like right at the beginning, because you first see the bloody hallway. It's like, yeah, that looks like a place I'd hang out. And you prance down there, and the thing, you have no weapons at the time. It's like, you're dead. And I was like, all right. Continue. And you get into it. I mean, there's no shock value. This has been done. This has been done better. And you can currently pick that up from Frictional cheaper.
Yep.
And it's not a
And
busted
the number
Unity game.
series pack is pretty cheap.
So for
And it's all
entertainment
on
value,
Linux.
it's not complete rubbish. No. At the end of the day, you might find some laughable things that you might want to put like Forrest Gump's soundboard next to you. Have a couple of laughs. I'll give it 2 chairs because I think that's what it deserves.
That's exceptionally generous, Ben.
Yeah.
Yes.
But much like Forrest Gump, but this game really, really struggles to make me give a shit about anything that's happening. That the atmosphere is complete garbage for one. Ben brought up the first sort of jump scare that'll kill you. I sort of backed up at a leisurely pace, and then it disappeared, and I'm like, oh. It's one of these games. All right. It makes the presumption that I will be scared. It's presumptuous that it thinks it's too scary.
But it's
not.
blindingly
It's not.
dark.
It's blindingly dark. Oh my! No, this honestly, like I said earlier, with this type of game, survival horror, atmosphere makes or breaks this game, and 20 minutes in, I realized that there is no chance in hell that this game is going to scare me. I have no desire to continue playing with it. The controls are muddy or overly sensitive, depending on.
Well, it's kind of backwards.
how
The thing
the game
about
is
the
feeling.
thing that scares you about Amnesia
Yeah.
and Machine for Pigs is what you don't know.
Exactly. This is classic movie making techniques. The scariest monster is the one you don't see, because your imagination will come up with scarier shit than these guys can come up with. You let it stew in your brain. That's why that PT, the new Silent Hill demo or the new Silent Hill teaser, is brilliant, because it just fucks with your brain and makes you scared. Same with Amnesia, same with Jaws, same with Aliens, all that shit. This game just fails. You play a horror game to get scared. This just falls flat on its face. It's scary that people will actually pay full price for this game. 1 chair.
Yeah. Yahtzee once said there were 3 kinds of horror. He said there was the first one, which was like the Doom kind of horror, which is jump scares. Which you're going down a dark corridor and a monster jumps out going a bloogie woogie woo. And it scares you. That's
Bloogie
one.
Woogie Woo.
Yeah. There's the second one, which is the
That's a
amnesia
show
type
title.
of horror. There's the amnesia type of horror, which is you're sure there's a monster hiding in that cabinet, but it doesn't jump out and it doesn't go a bloogie woogie woo, and it's just like, yeah, come on. And that's the kind of horror that fucks with you. And then there's the third type, which he at the time associated with Dead Space. Now, I would even associate it with this game, except this game is complete arse, even when compared to Dead Space. So, well, most of all the other points I could make regarding this game, you guys already made, and but I will add a little something extra. It's very obvious that they copy pasted some features from the Penumbra engine, what with them being open source now and all, but they failed miserably in their implementation. And it shows because the game sucks. One chair.
All right, so that's one chair for fun, a deserving one chair, and if we tally up the whole score from the chair's acquisition, we get one chair for blinding.
Oh, look,
darkness.
another Unity game that got a one chair score.
I know, it's shocking, isn't it? Surprise, surprise.
Shock and awe.
The only thing terrifying about this game is how bad it is. Do not buy.
No, the only
Ben,
terrifying
final
thing
thoughts?
is, and the final thoughts about this, this is something we spent your guys' wet, stinky cashes, small amounts, put together, so it was like 30 quid total. And you're going to be a little extra harsh, because we're spending your money, and that makes us, like, we're going to really give this a fucking business. And
Yep.
we did, and it did not fucking deliver. Unfortunately, maybe, out of all of your donations, each person gave like 25 cents, 50 cents, something like that, towards this. And hopefully there's a value there of saying, run away from this
Motherfucker.
busted,
Run,
horrible
you clever
game.
girl, run.
Run, you clever girl. Speaking of clever girls, what do you think, P-Man? Anything?
The first red flag came up when I saw the Steam page for this game, and down at the bottom in the Linux system requirements, it says 3,000 megabytes of RAM. And then it says either an NVIDIA 300M or a Radeon 7000. And I'm like, what? Huh? But, Ven actually, like you said, he used the donations money from you guys to buy everyone a copy, and this is one of those situations that I wish Steam actually had a proper refund policy.